comments below. Natalie Gage is here as well. And we didn't really even share this out. This is really our first, our first at bat here. Courtney Wolf is here. Awesome. Glad to have you here. Let us know where you're from as well. We didn't really even share this out. I'm just gonna, and we're going live to the YouTube channel too. It looks like, Crystal, I guess, right?
Yep, I got it all set up.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I've got some other questions that we can go through, but really I'll stop sharing here. So let me just back up and let people know like what we're trying to accomplish here. This is hopefully one of many, times that we do this. I've got, Steve Rozenberg here with me. I've also got Crystal, who you're hearing in the background here. If you're wondering if Steve just got a really high pitched voice there and he's the one talking, yeah. It's not Steve, that's Crystal. So what we're doing is the whole concept here is to bring marketing, give you marketing knowledge. I've been doing online marketing for almost, more than a decade now. I've been helping, just a disclaimer here, I've been helping Steve for the past 4 years, grow his business. And we really helped him with the foundation products, which I consider reputation and local SEO. And yeah, chat amongst yourselves there. I see Martina chatting in the webinar room. What we're going to do, what I want to do is I wanted to basically just have make this about you guys. How do we take your questions and answer them so that Christina Wade's here, that we can actually give you guys huge value. Obviously, Steve has got years of experience in property management, and I'll let you just introduce yourself, Steve, for people that don't know you.
Yeah. So Steve Rozenberg, I have a property management company in Houston, Texas, as well as Dallas, Fort Worth. And our claim to fame, I guess you could say, is that we are very exploding growth, I guess, organically. We never bought a rent roll. So we're at about 850 properties or so. And we just continue to grow, continue to march. We've learned the value of know, like, and trust. And we've learned the value of getting your clients and duplicating that over and over again to bring down the acquisition cost. And really top of the funnel, where you are getting them to purchase without you having to do anything, by finding you online, looking at your reviews, going onto your website, looking at your video blogs, seeing that you're the expert, kind of find their problem, if you will, and then executing and then closing, locking them up under, as a client, basically. And then, copy, paste, repeat, basically.
That's awesome. And you guys have done a great job.
Yeah. Well, when you and I first started, we didn't have any reviews. I think we were on page maybe 60, if that exists on Google. I remember, the conversation with you was the first thing we had to do was we had to start the reviews. We had to get reviews. We had to get people to find us. And I remember you were saying, well, just get as many as you can. And I thought, game on, and I think I forget how quickly we did it, but we ascended very, very quickly on the rankings. Now we actually just crossed the 400 threshold, and we're at, I believe, 4.8 or 4.9. The whole team does it. It's a company effort. It's a team effort. And that's the key, I think, to our growth. That's awesome that you said that. There's so many things that I want to just pull out from what you just said there, because usually when I tell people, hey, just, get reviews, because when they're first of all, they're like, really? Like how many do you want? Like 2 or 3? And I'm like, no, let's get as many as you can. And you were like, game on, because, you had a little bit of an advantage, because you're out there speaking, and you were like, asking people when you're speaking to say, hey, bust out your phones, let's go through this together. And how many people actually know where to go to leave a review? You're probably shocked at how few people actually knew where to go to leave a review on Google, right? That was probably your first shock, right? Yeah. First challenge.
Yeah. And once you did that though, and the other thing I want to point out that you did is that it was a team effort. Like it was like, it's not just you, it's not just Pete, it's your whole team collectively building what I consider, or what I call a reputation culture, which is a little bit unique because, you can go to Bird Eye and you can go, look, I'll talk about all the, like, there's tons of different companies out there that do reputation. And I know that you guys have, we're just kind of getting right in there because we're not beating around the bush here. Let's just go right into it, I guess, because, I know that one of the biggest challenges that I saw 7 years ago when I went to my first NARPA meeting in DC, they wanted to like hang the Yelp guy by his ears. Like, they were like, this is, there's so much, contention from the property management community there at NARPM that was saying, look, like, what's the deal? And nobody, like, he didn't have a real answer. I mean, and half of the reviews were being filtered, and, the good ones are being filtered, the bad ones are being shown. And you guys have a challenge because you're that middleman between the property owners and the property owners and the renters. And sometimes you guys have to enforce the rules, and that makes you the bad guy. And a lot of times, because of that, you have more of a propensity to get negative reviews. And that was the reason why this guy wanted to, everybody wanted to string him up by his ears, And so, and Martina's on here, here's the secret. This is why I said what I did in the title of this webinar is I said, this is the secret that it's like the silent killer of businesses. There's a problem, and most of these guys don't know they have it because you don't know, or as a property manager, because you just know that things keep going the way they are, and you're satisfied with 5 to 10 inbound phone calls when it can be much better than that. Like, you can get you're probably at 200 plus inbound phone calls now on a.
Yeah, we bounce between 160 to about 200 every month, give or take. Now, but I'll tell you about that. But hold on a second. Let me say a couple things about the Yelp thing. In Australia, they don't have Yelp, so I think they have True Local. I forget, but in any event, I think the fundamental problem with people that hate the Yelp is, number one, they get one bad one and they freak out. And when people say, like, I got a bad review, how do I remove it? My first thing is well, first you bury it with 10 good ones, number one. And number two, is there a fundamental problem with your business? Do you give bad service? Are you a bad operator? Because at the end of the day, look, you're going to get stupid people, and you're going to get people that are unreasonable. And, a lot of times, look, people don't want to talk to a property management company. It's like I tell people, we're kind of like the trash man of real estate. We're necessary, but nobody wants to hang out with us, right? And so, and the thing is when somebody calls, there's only two reasons your phone rings in the property management business. Either one, somebody wants to hire you, or number two, somebody wants to complain. It's the only time they call. So normally, if you don't have inbound leads, they're calling because they want to complain. And one can actually take over the other. And people get so caught up in these reviews and getting upset at Yelp and all these things. But sometimes it's actually telling you a story that, maybe you have a bigger problem that you don't realize. As like I was talking to someone today on Facebook, they were saying, like, I have a sales problem. And I was like, well, what's your sales problem? And she said, I don't get any leads. My phone's not ringing. I said, you don't have a sales problem. You have a marketing problem. Sales problem is once the phone rings, that's sales. Up until the time the phone rings, you're not marketing. You don't understand marketing. And then I said, well, what are you spending your budget on? How much of your revenue are you investing in for marketing? And she said, none. And I said, well, then you're getting exactly what you should get. You're getting none because you're investing no money in your marketing. So you have a fundamental business problem now. It's not even a marketing problem. You're not even marketing. So you're either growing or dying. So basically you're dying. You just don't realize it until your bank account says zero. And that's the problem with a lot of property management companies. They think that because if they have a great system, or they think because they're a good operator, it's like, if I build it, they will come. Mm-hmm. And just because you are a great systemization person, if you don't know how to market, I mean, anything anyone does, whether it's our company or General Motors or United Airlines, we're all marketers. We're all sales and marketing. We have to learn how to market. We have to learn how to make the phone ring or the internet ring or whatever you want to call it. And if you don't know how to do that, you're going to go out of business, because market share means you're sharing it with other people. And it doesn't go away. Someone else just takes a bigger piece of the pie. Yeah. And that's what people have a hard time understanding. And I think the biggest challenge, and something that you do very well, Ryan, is that people don't understand this whole digital e-marketing, enigma, and they think that they can still do it the old way. And it's like saying, I'm going to put an ad in the yellow pages. Well, nowadays, you would think that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But people still think that they think that way with other topics. They think I'm just going to make as many phone calls as I can. I'm just going to cold call. Well, that's one outbound sale as opposed to 100 inbound sales. And the 100 inbound sales is the funnel. And you got to create the funnel. And to me, the first part of the funnel is the reviews, because that's what, you have 3 seconds for them to stop scrolling on the internet to actually go, why should I use this person? So if you don't stop the scroll and you don't get them to start looking at you, all of a sudden you're going to have a bigger problem, because they are not going to even click on you. So again, I go back to, you don't have a sales problem if you're not getting leads, you have a marketing problem. And a lot of people just don't invest the money. They think they're spending the money, and that's the wrong attitude, I think.
Well, you're investing the money, because this is why, if you're spending marketing dollars, our mission is to, we say, look, we guarantee a 5-to-1 return. If you're not making money on the marketing dollars that you're investing, then there's a problem. Those are dollars that are being invested, just like you're investing in your retirement fund so that it grows, and so here's a great example. So if you type in, for example, property management Houston, okay, in Google, this is what Steve's talking about. You can see, if you're on the maps here, this is where 70% of people go to find local businesses, whether it's on this, the smartphone right there, or on a desktop or laptop like we're on right now. And you can see that, you go, look at that, you're at $3.99. You need one more to get to 400, man. You're like right there. It didn't register that last one.
Somebody on this will give it to me. I think somebody's going to give me a review. Definitely give me a review.
Yeah. And if you haven't, this is a good time to go and experience that. And speaking of that, if you want, I will give you, as an attendee, I will give you what we normally charge $200 for. And it's what we call our Google Naked Link. Okay. And the reason why we call it a naked link is because it does leave you a little bit exposed, because if you send it to somebody, you better know that they're going to give you a good review, because it's going to take that person directly to leave a review for you right on Google. So it's literally going to pull up your Google review box. And Crystal, I'm going to ask you to put an example of a Google Naked Link from for Empire here, so that we can actually show people what happens, because the number one problem for people to leaving a review is they do not know where to go. 90% of people, if you ask them where to go to leave a review, Martina can vouch for this, and some of the other people on here. If Greg Watson was on here, he would vouch for that. I mean, is that typically 90% of people or more do not know. So if you just actually give a link and people can just tap on it from either a text message that your team sends out or an email, and that takes them and it opens up the review box where they can literally just start typing the review, then that solves the problem. That literally will give you at least 2 to 3 more reviews.
And Ryan, I got to say, look at this page. Go look at that page. Look at the bottom guy. He has a 1-star review from one person.
Yep.
I mean, really?
Who are you going to call?
Get your mom could give you a review, or somebody. I mean, a 1-star. I mean, that tells me, look at this guy right here, Real Property Management in Houston. That tells me that they do not see the value in marketing. Like that's very clear, right? If you look at that person, you go, they do not see the value in online marketing.
Yep.
And
totally.
it's amazing, because that causes them not to get clients. Because here's the thing, when we talk to people and we start, we've got our scripts and everything when we're talking to people. And one of the things we'll tell them is, well, why don't you take a look at us online and look at some of our reviews? And you know what they say? I did. That's why I'm calling.
Exactly.
And that's the key to it all.
Yeah. And that's the key. And what ends up happening is you have pre-qualified typically and pre-sold customers, because they've already seen your social proof. It's one of the 5 psychological triggers that I always talk about. There's 5 triggers that you want to, there's the Google Naked Link. So I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'm going to grab this link right here. So there's the 5 psychological triggers are specificity, social proof, scarcity, exclusivity, and what's the last one? I'll think of it in a second. Okay, so here's when you have all 5 psychological triggers, and if you watch any late night infomercial, you're going to see every single one of them, used. And so like every landing page, I would, and this is, so social proof is and it's like right there in the top two. If it's not the first, it's the second. And so here's the link. I'm going to grab this. So here's the link right here. So imagine being able to send this link. Here's the link. Okay. If you could text this or email this to somebody, and all they do is I just pressed enter. Now what's going to happen is you'll see that it takes me right to Google. It takes me right to the Empire's Google My Business page. And I just want to help you guys. Okay. So just check this out. This is what's going to happen. All of a sudden, look at this. There's the review box. We didn't have to get sidetracked and go into literally I can go here. I can choose the star rating. Here's your 400th review.
There it is. There it is.
And is awesome. What he does and knows his stuff. Okay. So here's what I would also say is that actually when you leave a review and you ask for a review, it does matter what somebody says. Okay. So I would also do what I call a 2W testimonial. Okay. Which is what benefits you received and why you would recommend them. So what benefits specifically that you receive from that company, when you get that kind of stuff and you get a review like that, it does matter. Not only they did a study and they found that basically right behind the star rating and the number of reviews, the third most important thing was what was said. Okay. And the fourth most important thing was how recent the review was. So this is really, this is really big because actually it's your 400th.
There it is, 400. Bam.
Bam.
So
you
know, Ryan, one thing that believe it or not, one of the ways that I got a lot of my reviews is I would a very simple email, believe it or not. And it was a very simple email to just let them know that I had a competition going in my office and I was losing. And my performance review for my job, even though I'm the owner of the company, it doesn't matter. My performance review reflected the fact that if I didn't get my reviews and I lost the competition. And that's the law of reciprocity, right? So I would actually tell them, you remember how I helped you do something, blah, blah, blah. And they would say, yeah. And I would say, would you mind letting people know how I helped you? And as a matter of fact, what I'll do is I will, and this is, I think I forgot if I had your link or what link it was. It may have been your link, but I would say, I'll just send you an email reminding you of what we did, of how I helped you. And then if you want, you can just copy and paste that and put it right in the review for yourself. Because people want easy. They want the easy button, right?
They want the easy. So here's what Steve did. Remember I was talking about the 5 psychological triggers? One of them is specificity. He specifically talked to an individual person that knows him and understands, that there's some reciprocity there, that there's something that Steve did in the past to help him out. And that's huge. So to be able to leverage that and to talk to these people one off and reference, how you've helped them. And so people think that it's a spray and pray type, thing. It's not. You can do it and people think that Steve's got a huge advantage because he's speaking in front of other people and getting reviews, but that's not where he's getting most of his reviews.
I wasn't even speaking back then. I wasn't even speaking actually. Wow.
That's huge. So what he's doing is he's doing exactly what I would suggest what Martina's done. And this is why this is so important that you guys understand this, that it's a review culture, meaning I've got a fire extinguisher company down the street that I've been working with for 7 years now. I did 4 trainings with their staff. It took them 5 years. And finally a year ago, one guy started getting reviews. I told him that he could do this. I told 6 guys in each of the 4 trainings that I did, none of them did anything. Finally, one guy did it. They're up to, let's just do a search here. So, this is what can happen. And by the way, here's the secret. The secret is that when you get these reviews, you rank higher in Google. And when people find you on the maps, like we just saw Empire showing up there, it's that social proof is right there front and center, and it makes it just so easy for people to make a decision. So if I go to fire extinguisher, west, even west. Let's see. I think it's Lake Park is where they're getting most of them. He's got 5 locations or 3 locations. They literally have gotten like 100+ reviews and okay, here you go. 164 reviews now. They were literally at like 30 or 40, Crystal. I don't know, Crystal, you there? Were they at 30 or 40 about a month ago?
Wow.
Yeah.
This is 164 reviews, 4.9. That's huge. Yeah. Okay. And what questions do we have? Do we have some? Do you want to start taking some questions really quick, Steve, or what do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get into it. What do you think, Crystal? What do we got?
I'm looking. Martina did ask if they still needed a Gmail account in order to do a review. I did respond back to her. It looks like that's the only question that's come through.
Okay.
Come on, guys. You have these 2 experts here. Ask every question you can think of.
Right. Well, you've got experience here in terms of property management, and our goal, by the way, guys, is to give you this kind of value every time that we talk. We want to just take your one of the number one questions that I got is, how do I set up a lead generation system? Okay, that's giving me leads on a regular basis, and hopefully you're seeing. And look at this, 634, 6,000 significantly up in the past 28 days. And the reason why, guys, is because of what I've been talking about. If you want to get a regular stream of inbound phone calls and people going to your website, this is the best way to do it. It's the silent killer, because you're not going to know the difference until you actually do things differently and start getting reviews and doing what we call the local SEO. And you start setting up your directories. This is what, I think Steve thought I was a little bit crazy, and so did Pete when I first talked to them, I think 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, I know. He's a little bit, a little off on rock. But, that's okay. But we got, he's starting to believe me now a little bit. But what's cool is that they actually listen to me, and I'm like, guys, I know that this is going to, I was going with my gut. And this is about the time when SEO was really big. And I'm like, look, this is on Google's radar. Trust me, long-term, this is going to benefit your company. Let's get reviews and let's get them as many as we can, and get as many 5-star reviews as we possibly can. Okay, we've got some questions here. Let me just go to the chat. And they did. Okay. Courtney says, Facebook campaigns, are those effective? Okay, great question. I'm not sure, I missed it, been on the phone, but how do I set up to be able to get reviews? Great question. We can help you. Okay. By the way, if you guys want to, Steve actually said a question here a second ago, because he said something that was really poignant, and I want to circle back, because this is going to be, if you guys have any questions, Steve had said something about, how do you live in this e world, where things are happening so fast. And one of the ways that we do this is we pride ourselves, and one of the things that makes us a little bit unique is that we actually start conversations. And so if you have any questions, put them here. I'm going to answer them, do the best I can to answer them. But also, Crystal's going to put in the chat here, she's going to put a link for you guys to connect with Steve on his Facebook Messenger page, because I want Steve to experience this. Okay. Steve is starting, just like I started him off in the review world 4 years ago. I'm going to transition him slowly but surely here into the world of chat. And if there's a buzzword that I want you guys to just literally just take to the bank today, is this: start more conversations. Here's the opportunity. I will state this right now, and I will plant this flag in the ground right here, Steve, today. Okay, here it is. Just like I came to you and I said 4 years ago, get reviews, and you did. And now you took the tortoise race, and you're getting 200 or almost 200 inbound phone calls. Let's do this. If you just transition those phone calls into conversations more fluidly by starting chat conversations. And I'm going to, before you guys say, well, what do you mean, Ryan? How do you do that? I'm going to model this by actually putting a link for both Steve, for his Facebook Messenger, and our Facebook Messenger, to demonstrate and model for you what I believe is the future. It's what I'm writing my book about. It's coming out in August. and it's all about what we call the conversation funnel. Okay. And it's not, funnel is kind of a bad word, but I want you guys to understand what we're talking about. And that's why I combine conversation and funnel, because what we're doing is we're trying to start conversations for the purpose of giving value and making it more fluid to actually engage with somebody that has questions. Okay. So Crystal put that in there. Okay. She put both of our messenger links in there. And I want Steve, this is part of the reason why I wanted to do this with Steve, because Steve's a guy that's going out there. You know, most of the guys that are on here tonight had said that you'd be willing to do live video. Well, Steve does it. Okay. And every time I see Steve going live, I'm like, Steve, use your Facebook Messenger link so that you can actually bring those people that are on your Facebook Messenger into a conversation with you or anybody else on your staff. Okay. If you do that, your live videos are going to be so much more impactful. And actually, Facebook is going to reward you by giving you more reach, because that is what Facebook wants you to do. They want you to use all of their tools in order to make Facebook more valuable to people that are actually watching your live video. So does that make sense, Steve?
Yep.
Okay. So, Steve needs to use Instagram too now. It's yeah. So we can get Steve to go, I know, but here's what's cool is that Steve's going to have one link that he's going to be able to send people to in order to start a conversation with him. And what's so powerful about this is that Steve is going to be able to go back and forth with you with audio messages, just like, Steve, we were doing on Facebook Messenger. Most people that I introduced that whole concept to, they're like, wow, I love this. I love this type of communication, because it gives you time. The audio message, you can only send a 1-minute audio message at a time. And what happens is you have time to actually think about what you're saying back and forth. And you can answer the questions that the person gives you at any time that's comfortable with you. And what it does is it stops this insanity of trying to get on somebody's calendar. You and I went through this. We're like, when can we meet? When can we set this up? I'm like, forget it, man. Let's just have a audio back and forth. And what do? We set this whole thing up over maybe 22 or 23 1-minute audio messages back and forth. We're done. Right?
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree.
And so that was me starting a conversation with somebody that I already was engaged with. But imagine being able to do this with people that are wanting to engage with your business. Now, here's the pushback that I know I'm going to get is I've already gotten this. This is why I know is because I've got business owners that are saying, no, I don't want to do this because I've already got my CRM. We're already, we're already using that, and we've already got our lead flow. Okay. And that's great. What I'm saying is that the opportunity is to change and shift. And when you do, you're gonna convert a heck of a lot more business. And what we started talking about tonight, and the reason why I digressed into that is because I just want you guys to be able to get your answers after this meeting. And that's the best place to do that, is to start those conversations with us, either on Steve's, Empire Messenger or on Accelerate Marketing's. And Courtney says, video content, what are the best types of videos to start with, and how are you coming up with the content? Do you think videos of you are more effective than the cartoon picture style? I'll let you answer that, Steve. What do you think?
Well, of course, with me, they're better. No, just kidding. Okay, so a couple things. You asked about video content. Every day you have owners, well, let me back up. I think the biggest challenge is people do videos about content that no one cares about. They do videos about how great they are. They do videos about things that is not relevant to the problem that the person has. And the challenge is it's the bleeding neck, right? Somebody has their neck is bleeding and they're putting a Band-Aid on their leg. And so a lot of these people that do these videos, they're talking about things that is not important to the person. The person has a problem. They're going online to look for someone that has the solution. So my point is that every day we have owners, we have tenants, we have vendors, in Australia it's tradies, that are calling us, asking questions or complaining about something. Why do I have to pay my rent on time? Why is my tenant not paying their rent? Why is this maintenance bill so high? Why do you guys suck so much? How come you never answer your phone? These are all questions that people are actually asking. That is your video content. You can make video content. If you went through all the property managers and just started thinking, what are all the things that people complain about all the time? That is your content. Going back to the cartoons, it's been proven that a person is much more relatable than a cartoon. That's number one. Number two, cost effectiveness. It costs you $0 to do a video. It's not going to cost you $0 to do a video with a cartoon. So there's going to be a cost. Now, when Ryan talks about doing videos, we're talking, I mean, I probably have 200 plus videos. I do 2 to 3 a week of these videos. And I just ask my property managers, give me the latest, stupid thing that people are asking about. What is the biggest problem people are having? That's your content. Yeah. And I mean, I have a video blog book that I sell with content that you could buy, and it's relevant here, it's relevant in Australia, it's relevant anywhere, because it's the same questions people ask. Yeah. What are the top three mistakes landlords make? What keeps you up at night when you're a property owner? And so you got to first find out who your target is, and you got to find out what their problems are. Now, the next thing is, I would say, best CRM is we use HubSpot. We good, bad, or indifferent, we use it. We love it. It's a big animal. It's very in depth, but it just depends on your level of engagement. My marketing guy, we used to use a system called Zoho, and we switched over from Zoho to HubSpot because it was geographically able to put our BDMs, and when a lead comes into the workflow, it could geographically place it to that BDM in that geographical area. But with that being said, I mean, it's an amazing thing. It sits behind our website. We can look at traffic. We can look at all things. When someone's clicking on an email, we can actually see what they're clicking on, what page of the ebook they go to. And so the HubSpot is great, but you really have to know what you're doing and commit a lot of time to doing it, in my opinion, if you're going to use HubSpot. But Ryan, what's your thoughts on the CRM system?
No, that's a great, I mean, HubSpot's a beast. I mean, and we're Infusionsoft certified partners, at Accelerate Marketing, and we've been using Infusionsoft. Some people call it Confusionsoft, for good reason, kind of like, HubSpot, same thing. Yeah. It can be confusing. Look, the best CRM is the one that you use, is the bottom line. You know what I'm saying? Right. I mean, it's it's the one that you're going to use.
It's a tool. It's just a tool. Yeah. You don't need to overcomplicate it. Some people, they'll never even start because they'll say, I don't even have time to figure out a CRM. That's just an excuse. Whatever you fear the most is what will end up becoming what you are challenged with. If you're a property manager and you're always afraid that you're too expensive, that's always going to be the challenge that you have as a property manager. If you're afraid that you don't know CRM and you don't know how to do videos, that will be your biggest nemesis, is you will never know how to do videos, because that's the biggest thing you fear. Yep. You just got to do it. I mean, it's like, people always have these, like Ryan, when we started, I didn't know anything about it. I was like, what do I do? He said, just get your phone, do that, hit record and go. And I'm like, okay. I didn't even know what I was saying, and it's like, and some people say they suck at videos. I'm like, well, tell me that after you've done 500 videos. When you've done 500, then we can say if you really suck or not. When you've done 2, you don't suck. You just don't know what you're doing yet.
I seriously could not have said it any better, because seriously, you looked at me like every other property manager does when I say just do it, like just take your phone, and I tell them, I can't tell you how many people I've told to do that, and probably the only ones that have done it are like you and a handful of others. There's like Martina's starting to do some, and Greg's doing, and it takes time. I mean, I get it. You guys didn't start right off the bat. I mean, it took a little time. But once you got started, it's like the ball got rolling, and I saw them, starting to populate on your website. And look, this is the reason why, and I'm going to show my screen here. There is no question about it. And here, this is the reason why this is happening right here. Make no mistake about it. Okay. When somebody goes, okay, and they look for property management in Houston, the reason why he's getting that many inbound phone calls is because he's showing up here, not only on the maps, but he's also showing up here in the organic section. Okay. So in other words, there's a double whammy here, and there's actually a triple whammy, because we actually, on occasion, because we're doing Facebook ads for them, we call it the trifecta. So he's in the ad section. They go down here, they look on Google Maps, they go, oh, 399 reviews, and I saw him up here. Oh, let's go down here. Oh, and he's organically here with his website. It's like who? And so you've got authority now. So one, by the way, the last psychological trigger that I left out was authority. Okay. So authority is the fifth psychological trigger. And that is what you're demonstrating and modeling here when you actually get your website to show up here in all three places. It's like, this guy is marketing his butt off. He knows what he's doing about marketing. He's showing up in the ad section. Also, he's organically here, and we've got social proof being modeled, and he's got authority because he's actually, his website showing up here in the organic section in the first position. So it's like just overwhelming proof. And so that's what's so powerful. That's why I bet you that 80% of people that go to this search are going to call you versus anybody else on this page.
Well, and so a couple points to that, Ryan. You know, from us using HubSpot, we know what they're doing. We know when they're on our site, we can see what they're doing, what they're clicking on, what videos, time on site, and all that stuff. But the one thing that people don't realize about the videos also is you can use those when you have a client. So let's say a client calls and you're going through your scripts. Well, let's assume you have a script. If you don't, you should. But you're going through your scripts, and they have a problem with a tenant. They just had to evict their tenant. Well, how powerful is it when you say, "Hey, the owner of the company or so and so just did a video on top 5 ways to avoid losing thousands of dollars picking your next tenant. Let me send you that video." And they're like, "Wow." So you just, now how authority is that? Where you just send them a video. So we have the BDMs and everybody, they just have this huge buffet of videos that whatever their problem is, you know what? We have a video on that. Let me send you the video because the owner of the company was just talking about this. Let me send that to you. And all that does is now when they look on the video, it takes them back to our site. And then they're going, wow, there's a lot of other videos on here. And, oh, they've got a couple ebooks and this and that. And it just starts them. All of a sudden, it just starts marinating because we know the amount of pages. And I don't know, you may know what the average is. I don't know what the average is that someone looks. I think it's like 30 pages on your website. But, we see they're just sitting there marinating, going through all this stuff.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah. And, they're selling.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
That's all right. But they're selling themselves. You don't even have to do the selling. They're already sold. Yep.
And let me actually, I was going to show the Facebook page, but Crystal, I might have you show it yourself, their Facebook page, because it's just draining my internet here. Okay, so we've got Stephanie Regab. Yes, we're going to send out the, if you connect with us on Facebook Messenger, I'll send you the link to this. And then Courtney says level is 0, no experience in CRMs. Got it. And back to Martina's question, yes, most likely, yeah. If somebody has a Gmail account or a Google Plus account, they will be able to leave a review for your business. Okay, and it literally takes 2 seconds for somebody to set up an account in order to be able to leave a review. It literally is like 2 questions, and boom, they can leave a review.
And again, Ryan, it just goes back to now we have 400. It's not that hard. And on Facebook, I think we have like 70 or something like that. We have a bunch on Yelp. I mean, it's not that complicated. People and here's the thing, when you're going to reviews, and when I was out there in Australia talking with Darren and Dennis, I came up with the 8 points of happiness. And there, and you told me, you taught that to me originally, the points of happiness. And I've been able to identify more specifically, when is someone happy, right? So we've identified they're happy. A tenant is happy when they're accepted into a property. An owner is happy when a tenant is accepted in their property, unless they got evicted and you had to replace them. But an owner is happy when maintenance is done quicker and cheaper. So there's times when owners, tenants, a vendor is happy when the vendor gets paid. These are all times people are happy. That's when you go for the review. They're not going to go. The biggest challenge is people think they'll do it on their own. They're not going to do it on their own. You have to push them and prod them. People like to be led. They like to be told what to do. You have to tell them what to do. And people just go, oh, nobody leaves me a review. It's like, how many people have you asked? Ask 500. And if you get 100, then you're doing good.
Well, okay. So here's something I want to say about that. So you have what we call a window of reciprocity. Okay. So it's about an hour after that person's happy. Okay. That window is open. And if you don't ask, and this is why it's so important to build a review culture, because if it's not Steve, it's got to be Pete or somebody else that's there when that person's saying that they're happy, so that they can actually ask. The other stat that I want to tell you about is that 80% of people that are asked to leave a review, Martina can chime in on this, and she just said we have passed our goal of 100. We're at 110 Google reviews. We need a new goal. Now, Martina can also attest to this. We have documented that, just like you, and I'm surprised at how quickly this is happening now in Australia versus the US. It seems to be easier. By the way, I will say this. You didn't have the number of property managers when you first started getting the number of reviews that they're getting.
No.
Now they're seeing what you're doing and they're trying to catch up. But in Australia, they're clueless about this stuff. And so Martina is just where we were 2 years ago with you. Like, she's at 110, and her competition, nobody in her area has even got 5 or 10, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so she's growing the number of inbound calls. We've documented this. Her inbound calls have grown by about 20 to 30 or maybe 40% in just about 4 to 5 months. That's awesome.
Wow. That's
because
great.
If we just keep doing what we're doing, and that's just from getting reviews and also doing the local search engine optimization that you've done. And a lot of that at local SEO is going to take care of itself if you do what you did, which is actually start creating video. And that's why one of the questions that I asked about people that are joining the group, because I want to deal with like-minded people. I don't want people are like it and are cool with doing things that are different, because different is better, and you get different results when you actually do things differently. So if you want to get the results that everybody else gets, then just do what everybody else is doing. But if you want to get the results that are different, then do things that are different. And that's the bottom line. So, and one of those things, and this is what I'm writing my book about, it's what I call the triple play strategy. And this is the first time I'm talking about it in a group, is content, chat, and chat ads. Content, chat, and chat ads. So what you do is you do content, live video is the best. And then you bring people into a chat conversation in Facebook Messenger, and then you retarget them with ads that are of value to them. Okay. So what you're doing is you're creating this triangle of, that where people just keep going around and around and around. And eventually people are going to be like, man, this guy, Steve, just gives so much value. And this is part of the reason why we're doing this, is because this is, you're in the awareness stage. At least now you're aware, and I'm going to keep giving value so that you guys see, that there's a different way to do things. And it is, it's about doing things differently, like I said. And let's see, Martina said 182 inbound calls in April. There you go, Martina. That's awesome.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And that's a lot. Because I know that's up from probably up 15, 20, at least 30%, which is awesome. And I get excited about that stuff. And I still do. I mean, even though a decade's gone by, I still get excited about seeing those kind of results. And,
well, it's like a Rubik's Cube, and it keeps changing. What you did 2 years ago with us, or 3 years ago when we first met you, that wouldn't work today. It would not be as effective. Yeah. So you have to keep changing and changing and, learning and keep doing. And, and again, it goes back to the biggest challenges. People that operate a business, they think that because they have the best system that they're going to win. And it's not the case anymore. You don't need a brick and mortar office. You don't need the best structure. You need structure, and it's got to work. But that's not what's going to get the people to call you. Just because it's the standard, I make a better burger than McDonald's, but I could never put them out of business. It's a marketing sales thing. It's a perfect example,
Yeah. Yep. And guys, if you want to test this out, if you want to test out what I'm talking about in terms of starting chat. So Steve, okay. And I did this with Steve. Okay. And I had asked Steve to do this. Okay. You can take our reputation quiz. Okay. Go there. I'm actually trying to build one of these for property management companies. I've been working with property managers for 10 years. This is our industry. This is our niche. And Crystal just put the link in. She's going to put it in the group and also in the webinar. By the way, if you're in the group and you didn't jump into the Zoom webinar so that you're in what we call the green room here. So what we're doing, just so you guys know, is we're going live using Zoom, using a webinar platform, kind of like GoToMeeting or whatever. And then we're streaming this to the actual Facebook, through Facebook Live to the group. And so I'm only in Zoom webinar chat. Okay, so George, awesome. You should see the link there. If you see that there's a little chat button at the bottom, so just click on that, and then then you'll see the chat pop up. And then if you scroll up at 8:47, you'll see that Crystal sent to all participants a link there. If you click on that link, it'll immediately open up our Facebook Messenger and drop you into our Messenger to give you value by giving you a 5-question quiz that will help you understand if you're actually managing your reputation effectively or not. And it will give you quotes and statistics that will guide you into taking action. And I asked you, Steve, this, if you could put together 5 questions, and I've challenged, Greg Watson and Martina, because I am convinced that because I can tell you right now, I was just at Traffic and Conversion with over 7,000 marketers from all over the world. And, ebooks work, but they're losing their effectiveness. So what we're doing is we're creating a quiz in order to engage. So somebody said, I think that's MAR said, Martina said, I cannot see messages from Crystal. So I would put a link, Crystal, to the Facebook group and or to my Ryan Styleson Facebook page, so they can go there and see the links there, maybe in the comments of the live video on the we'll send it to you guys directly. And by the way, we are going to send the recording to this live video out to you guys, so you can watch this again. But we have found, and we've heard this from all the other marketers, that quizzes are working much better. So if you have questions, Steve, that I want to put this together, and I'm willing to let some people in the group use a quiz like this. I can tell you right now, if you go and you created this quiz, it took me 15 hours to create it. This is you actually get a quiz result in the end, okay, out of 10. And this is a way to start conversations and give value. And Steve, when you go and you do your podcasts and you do your live videos, if you give this as an offer and you have either yourself on your phone, you just copy it to your phone. If you're live on your phone, even, all you got to do is go to the comments and then just paste in the link. And that way people can actually go into your Messenger and they can start a conversation with you. And that way you can go back and forth, and I'll show you guys this. So when I attended, TNC, Traffic and Conversion, Ryan Dice was speaking from stage, and he was like, look, this is the year of starting conversations. That's what he said to the entire group. And I totally agree, because I was sitting next to a guy and I said, let's see if he starts talking about conversations. And sure enough, he did. He's like, first thing out of his mouth, keynote speech, 7,000 people, 3-day event. And that's what he started with. And I'm like, I said, see, he gets it. And what's cool is, and this is what I'm saying is that you have the ability to be able to start conversations with property owners, investors, right from live video. That is so powerful. I can't even tell you. They're going to be blown away when you go from a live video.
How do you do it when you're, like, for example, when I'm on the phone doing a video, I don't see it popping up in Messenger.
Okay, so Crystal, send everybody the link in chat, and we'll get this over time. I mean, you guys will get used to this, but in chat, Crystal's going to put a link to our Facebook page. If you go to the Facebook page, you will actually see, Crystal will put the link to the Facebook page there. And if you go to the Facebook live video there on the Accelerate Marketing page, or where are we going live, Crystal? Are we going to live to Accelerate Marketing or Ryan Donaldson?
Accelerate Marketing.
Okay. So Crystal's going to put the link to Accelerate Marketing in the chat. You guys can go there. You'll see the live video. Okay. Here, let me show my phone because it's actually faster. Or Crystal, can you show your phone so you can actually show people what the links are so we can demonstrate it in the last 8 minutes here? You able to show your phone?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Crystal's awesome. Everybody say hi to Crystal.
Hello, everyone. Okay, tell me if you can see my phone.
I'll tell you in a second. There we go. Started sharing the screen. Come on, baby.
Seems like it's thinking.
I know. There we go. Got it. Okay. So we're live. And so what Crystal is showing here, okay, this is actually the live video. Okay. So two people are in here on the page. And so what Crystal's done here is so Steve, this is what I'm telling you. Okay. This is, if there's one thing you take away from today, it's this is okay. So now you're seeing where there's a little bit of a delay. So now you're seeing, what I'm seeing. It's like, whatever, triple vision here. But bottom line is that Crystal is posting these links here. So what you could do, Steve, is before you go live, is you just copy the link before you go live on your phone, and then in the comment section, you just paste in that link and you say, hey, jump in, click the link if you want to take our landlord quiz to see if you're managing your property effectively, based on the 5 questions that we asked you, that you can take this quiz in less than, a minute, and you'll get a result out of 10. So if you do this, you're going to add so much value. So Crystal, if you click on one of those links, to just show Steve really quick what it's like when somebody.
Okay.
Is this the one I did? I did one of these, right?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You did the reputation quiz. But Crystal, you've got to go into your own personal messenger. Yeah, go to your personal messenger and go into and go to watch it as if you're in your personal messenger. So go back out to your home screen.
For some odd reason, I'm clicking, but it's not going anywhere.
I did one of these, right?
Okay. But so you guys, okay, let me, it's not going out. It's not going to your home screen. Click the home button.
Okay, hang on. Let me stop share real quick and then do this one more time. Sorry.
We got a few more minutes here. Guys, if you have any questions, type them in below. Steve, are we going to be able to, you want to do this next week again, or what do you think?
Yeah, we can. Sure.
Okay. I think that, we didn't even promote this. And I think that we're going to get a lot of people that are going to get a lot of value out of this after the fact in the group. I'm just going to keep giving value.
Can you see it?
I can see it. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you go to your home screen or no?
What happened?
I don't know. Here.
I'm on. Okay. I'm on my home screen now.
Oh, here. I'm going to share mine. Are you able to see mine? Let me know. Let me know when you can see it, if you can. And then, guys, if you have any questions, just go ahead and type them in. Are you able to see my screen or no?
I can see your screen.
My phone screen or just my
Nope,
laptop?
just your laptop.
Okay.
I don't mind sharing mine.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay, let me see. But is there any other questions that we've got there, Crystal, that people are asking?
Let's see. George said he can use the link too. So I just want to make sure, George, you can see the link. And then if there's, the goal that we have here is to just give value. We'll talk about, by the way, Steve, are you using, do you see value? I'll ask you a question. Do you see value in doing virtual tours of your rental properties?
Not for the time it takes to get them done and set up. And the reason I say that is, we use realtors, not necessarily in-house employees. So our realtors for our brokerage company do the listings. So it's kind of like we'd have to train all of them, and they'd have to be in charge of the equipment or whatever they would be doing. And we've tried them and we tested and measured. We did not see an increase in closing rate by doing that.
Okay. Awesome. And what's if there was one other thing that you could share with the viewers tonight that would help them get more doors, what is that, besides what we've talked about in terms of foundation of having, a good reputation, good reviews, good local search engine optimization, so that you show up on on the search engines, what else do you think has really contributed to your growth over the past few years?
I mean, we're like omnipresent, man. We fire on every cylinder. We test and measure everything we do.
Mm-hmm.
We are big in every, Kevin, I mean,
Yep.
every single testing marketing campaign we do, we want to know, are we getting opportunities from it? Are we getting, what are we actually getting? What dollar is it costing us? And a lot of people, they may try an ad or they may try something and it may not work. And they say, oh, it doesn't work. It's not that it doesn't work. Maybe your ad just sucks. And maybe you do a split test copy and you need to try 5 ads or 10 ads, and my thing is nobody wants to see the name of your company in your face. You got to ask a question. You got to ask a question to get them to engage. And the biggest challenge is people want to say that what their company is and they want to have their picture. Nobody cares about that. You got to ask a question, are you fed up and frustrated with being a landlord? That's something that they may click on or look at. And so it's rewording what you're saying, in my opinion. And we can talk about next week, we can have a cliffhanger. We can talk about how they can have some marketing campaigns to their current owners and double down with their current owners and increase their acquisition costs gets zero. Well, not zero because they already paid something, but it gets halved if they can come up with marketing campaigns to retarget their current owners.
Okay, retarget them so that for more doors, or you mean to sell the properties?
More doors, like, and trust. They already know you, like you, and trust you. Who goes back to their current owners and engages them to purchase more? Hits them on Facebook, does all these things. Hey, Empire just helped another owner increase their net worth. If that's getting in front of them on Facebook, they're going, hey, you can help me. Why can't you help me buy more properties?
Love it. Okay, so we'll talk about that next week. Is doubling down on the bottom of funnel, so we call it BOFU. Yeah. So there's middle of funnel MOFU, and there's top of funnel TOFU. But so now we're down at bottom of funnel. See there, you're probably thinking I'm crazy again. So we're down at the bottom of the funnel. And with those people that you're already, they already know, like, and trust you. Like, that's why we're in the bottom of the funnel, where they're not in the top, where they don't know you. They're not even aware of you barely. We're at the bottom. So I know it's 9 o'clock. I want to stick to the time.
Yep.
Thank you guys. If you want to connect with me or Steve, all the links are right there. Join the group, and we'll be ready next week. I think we've worked the kinks out, and we're going to be bringing it every week. All right.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. We'll see you.
Thank you. Later.
Bye.
Bye. Let's see, Crystal, if you want to stay on, I'm just gonna.
Hey, Ryan, I gotta hop off. Is that okay?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. I'll talk to you guys later.
Later.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.